Yeah, so we got this Nissan with a QR20 engine. Customer complaint is that the check engine light is on, and it was by another shop, and they wasn't able to figure out exactly what's going on. So what he like me to do is diagnose this vehicle for him and get it working. So let's see if we can put the scan tool on it and see if we could get some sort of direction. We got the check engine light on, as you can see, on this Nissan Xtrail. This customer basically asked me if I could take a look at it. I believe the vehicle was at another shop and they wasn't able to figure out exactly what's going on. So I'm going to put the scan tool on it and see if I can get some sort of symptoms and direction and figure out what's going on. So let's put the AC on and let's put some load on the vehicle and see if we have a misfire or something. It feels like a little rough idle, but there's nothing to talk about. So let's head to the exhaust pipe and let's see if we can figure out exactly what we're dealing with. Is it communication? Is it harness problem? Is it just a simple misfire? So let's go to the tailpipe. Okay, so we at the tailpipe. I'm not hearing anything, but is it intermittent? It could be. So I'm gonna go and probably put the scan tool on it and see what's going on with this vehicle. I'm not hearing it. It sounds like we do have a misfire. As the vehicle starts to get warm, I'm hearing it. You're hearing the puff, like a puffing sound coming from the exhaust. So let's go into the scan tool and let's see if we can figure out exactly what's going on with this vehicle. This is a NT30 Nissan Xtrail, right, which is the old model. Alright, so we're just gonna go, in fact, let's do a smart scan. Alright, so it's kind of hard to see exactly how much kilometers on this vehicle because the screen is burnt out. So you probably gotta replace that, right? But the check engine light is definitely on, and what I'm seeing here is we have two faults on the ECM, as from what I'm seeing on the scan tool. I mean, it could be simple thing as a faulty coil, could be dirty injector, could be something simple as oil down in the spark plug or faulty spark plug. But I'm definitely feeling the rough idle symptom. Yep. And the scan tool is basically telling me that I have two faults on the ECM. So this shouldn't be hard to diagnose. This is an older model vehicle, right? This is a 2006 vehicle, so it's supposed to be fairly easy to figure out what's going on. Oh, you got a sunroof. Does it work? It doesn't look like it works. So I'm gonna leave that alone before it opens, and I can't figure out how to close it. So we also got a fault on the TCM. What is it? Initial start. So we have a fault on the initial start. And yep, we got a P0302 ignition signal primary, and we also have a P0302 cylinder number 2 misfire. So I mean, there you have it. We have a faulty probably coil or something like that. So what we gotta do is go under the hood and do an inspection and see if we have any sort of let's say oil residue that's on the coil that could cause a misfire. We could also have carbon track getting on the coil as well, or even on the plug. We could have a faulty plug, right? But we definitely have a rough idle. So what I'm gonna do next is let's go on the hood and let's conduct an inspection. As a matter of fact, can we do a power balance test here? Yes, we could. Let's listen to the drop in the RPM while I'm in front by the engine bay. So let's head out there and figure out what's going on. Right, so what we're going to do here next is consider a power balance. So what we're going to do is shut off pull cylinder on this engine, and we're going to listen to the RPM. If you hear a change in the RPM, that means that cylinder is contributing. That doesn't mean that the coil and the plug is low, but at least it's, you know, got the command from the ECU to shut off, right? So we're going to go into cylinder number 1. Okay, we're going to press confirm, and we're going to listen, and we're going to look at the RPM. So you hear the drop and the change in the RPM, right? And then it basically try to pick back up. So we're going to see if we can come out from here. And let's come back out. Alright, and you hear the vehicle went back to no misfire. So we're gonna go into cylinder number 2 and let's listen for the change in the RPM as well. Right, so we had engine speed 725, 712. Let's press stop. Alright, so it's contributing as well. So I mean, it did mention that cylinder number 2 had the fault, but I'm not sure what's going on. Let's come out of there. Let's go into cylinder number 3. And let's do the same test. So, I mean, number 2 sound like it's contributing a little bit, but in comparison to the others, it sounds like it's definitely weak. So we're going to do number 4. And listen to the tone of the engine. So it dropped all the way down to 575. So number 1, 3, and 4 sound the same. Alright, so the scan tools let me know that number 2 has a fault, but we gotta test a little bit more and verify that number 2 has a fault. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna probably do the switcheroo or swap-a-roo or whatever you call it, and I'm going to also take the bolt off and I'm gonna, you know, pull one at a time and see if I hear a change in RPM. If you don't have a scan tool, that's an easy test if you have access to the coil. Alright, so while the engine is running, I'm just gonna just gently lift up each coil and I'm gonna listen to the RPM of the engine as well. Alright, so that's number 1. Let's pick up number 2. No change. So you see how, I mean, doing a power balance test could also throw you off, because I did it with the scan tool. I was able to cut the power going to the coil and you heard the difference in the change, but check this out, nothing. Alright, let's try number 3. Get the difference in the engine. Let's try number 4. Number 4 is contributing, but it feels like it sounds like it's also weak. But number 2 definitely not doing anything in comparison to the others. These basically sound like it's ready to store. Let's take the engine off and let's see exactly, do some inspection to the coil and see if we have any carbon track or if you have any oil down the cylinder. Okay, so let's see if we can just take each coil out. Alright, and I'm trying to do this with one hand at the same time hold the camera. It's kind of hard to do that without damaging the coil, so let me just get it done before I damage something. So I was able to remove the harness for each coil, and let's do an inspection. So this is number 1. Doesn't look like it have anything on it. This is number 2. He has slight oil on it. So I'm gonna look in down the cylinder and see if I've seen any oil. This is number 3, and he a little shiny, but he looks okay. And this is number 4. Number 4 got a lot of oil on it. So that can also let us know that we also have a misfire on number 4 as well. because we have oil getting down in the spark plug area, which is supposed to be dry. So there you have it. We got misfire on coil number 2, and we also have somewhat high resistance, which is oil, down in the cylinder. So we're gonna have to remove the cover and replace the spark plug seals and number 2 coil. I'm not sure if number 4 coil is also needs to be replaced. I might end up replacing that one as well, because I didn't like how it was sounding, and it's probably gonna feel eventually. So let's get rid of number 4 and number 2 as well. All right, let me show you exactly how it looks when you don't change this valve cover gasket in time, which can also lead to a misfire. You see that excess oil? That's actually down in the spark plug hole where it's not supposed to have any oil. So that can also cause a misfire and cause the premature failure of this coil. So that's why I mentioned I'm going to replace number 2 and 4 at the same time, because it's going to be a matter of time before it also fails. Okay, so let's take these out and let's replace them with the valve cover. The complete cover I'm going to change with the gasket. Okay, so this is number 4 spark plug. You see it's basically drenched in oil. So that's why I mentioned I'm going to replace number 4 coil and spark plug. This is number 3. He's not as bad as number 4. Number 2 is, let's see how number 2 looks. I'm just going to stick a magnet down here. Number 2, he isn't bad as well, but you see that little dark tan mark around the spark plug? That's letting me know that this spark plug hasn't been replaced in a while. But number 4 is definitely drenched with oil. So as I mentioned, I'm going to replace number 4 and number 2 coil, and I'm going to replace all the spark plugs, and this valve cover got to replace as well. So I'm going to go out to the store and see if I could get my hands on a cover and coil and plug, and I believe this is supposed to rectify that misfire that we are getting on this engine.
6 hours later.
So this is day 2 of this Xtrail T30 with the cylinder misfires, right? I was able to get my hands on some NGK spark plugs. Okay, and I'm also going to replace number 4 and number 2. You see his new coils, generic type, but it's supposed to be able to work. And I'm also going to replace the cover, because as you saw, we had oil in cylinder number 4. So you gotta basically replace the entire cover just to get access to these seals. These seals tend to get hard after a while, and what causes the oil to leak into the cylinder. So we're gonna just swap that out, right? You cannot replace it because it's embedded into the cover. So I gotta replace this, replace the gasket, put some silicone, RTV on the edges, and we're supposed to be able to start the vehicle and clear the code. So I was able to replace these coils like I mentioned before, the cover. So let's get this vehicle started up and see what's going on. So I'm just gonna go right back into the system here using the scan tool, and let's look for Xtrail again. This is T30. All right, so let's do a full scan because we had a fault on the TCM as well. I'm not sure if that is from, you know, initially where they was trying to start the vehicle up and it wasn't able to. So let's wind this glass up because got some birds around that's making a lot of noise. So I mean, the power balance test was on point because I was able to hear the difference in the RPM. You gotta make sure you dot your I's and cross your T's, you know, because you're definitely gonna have a lot of comebacks if you don't do those things, right? So that's why I preach to my guys all the time. You gotta do your due diligence, man. You gotta be on top of your game, because if you don't, you're gonna lose customers. And people do talk, you know. And then word get around that you can't even diagnose a, let's say a P0300 or P03 whatever, right? you're gonna lose customers like that. So I was able to, practice what I'm preaching to y'all. And right now we just run through the system. It's kind of taking long, but the gray, let's say the guys who don't know what exactly I'm looking at. All right, so it's running through the system, all the modules on the system. The ones that's grayed out is not equipped because it's an older module. I'm a model vehicle. The red is where the fault is at, and the green is good. So this system doesn't have much technology because it is a older vehicle, a 2006, as I mentioned before. So it's just gonna skip what it don't have. But you gotta be careful also with that, because let's say you see one of these modules grayed out, but you know that it's supposed to have an ECM. You understand? So you can't just look at the topology and say, well, because it's not gray or it's not working, it's supposed to be gray. You gotta, really pay attention to what you're looking at. Because I got some guys at the time, they called me concerning things like this, and they say, hey, Chief, they see the TCM grayed out. That means the TCM is not working, or is it working, or does it have one equipped? And I was like, do you see a TCM? He's like, yeah, I'm seeing a TCM. So, if you're seeing a TCM, so that clearly shows that, the TCM is there, but it's not communicating or not power up. So you gotta, do your checks. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so it's almost finished running through the system. Oh, no, we have more. Let's see, does this have network diagram? No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Because, as I said, man, probably using K-line or something. You don't have any, as I said, because it's an older system. Alright, so it's taking really long to run through this. Right, so far we have the faults on the engine, which is the P1320, and we got the P0302 faults as well. So when we start up, we definitely gonna get a little bit of smoke coming out the exhaust because the oil got into the spark plug side, and I'm gonna check and ensure that I don't have any leaks around the valve cover, right? But I believe it's definitely gonna fix this vehicle. So let's go back to the system topology, right? So I did do a pre-scan, but what I like to do is save this, because you need to send this to the customer. Alright, so with that, now we're gonna go back out and we're gonna clear all DTC. So we gotta clear the fault codes off the system. So get everything off. And next, what I'm gonna do is start the vehicle up. Probably switch off, cycle the key off and on, and then start up. Sounding much better. We don't have any check engine light on, but what I'm gonna do next is still just come out. I'm just gonna go back into the ECM, and then gonna just read to see if I have any fault codes that pop up. Okay, read fault codes. None. So we don't have any fault codes at all. So let's go into read data stream. So let's see if we gotta reset any misfire counters and stuff. I don't think it have that because the system is very old. So we could reset that because it was like 97. Probably was dumping fuel because the coil wasn't working, and also it could also think the oil in the chamber was like gas, you would say. So could be was taking away 3% fuel. So let's go into read data stream. The idle is high because the vehicle is now starting up for the first time. Let's pick up some PIDs that I like to look at. Let's ensure all is well. You don't want to pick too many PIDs because it tends to slow down the system. Other than that, I'm going to call this a fix, right? We could do a power balance check to ensure all is well. We could do that, but I'm not going to do it because I believe this was the fix and why the engine light was on. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment down in the box, you know, hit that bell notification for more content by your boy DJ Mobile Auto Services. Until next time, y'all take it easy. Peace.